Hi everyone, Emma here. I'm so excited to show you how to make this bracelet. So I use these beautiful pearls. Let me just adjust the camera here. I use these beautiful pearls that I got from Beebeecraft. These are shell pearls and they are 4 millimeters, and you get 10 strands for $24. So they end up being about $2.40 a strand. There's about 87 pearls on each strand. So it's a good deal. Now, $2.40 a strand you think might be a little expensive, but let me tell you, these pearls are perfect in shape, and the finish on them are perfect. So sometimes you get inexpensive pearls. They're not quite rounded on the ends. They kind of cut off, so they're very flat. So when they sit together, you don't quite get that complete circular shape. So these are beautiful. They're like substantial as well, so there's a weight to them. So if you're using them to string a necklace, you'll get that nice drape that you look for with pearls. And you can see all the different designs I did, and these there's more than this that I made with these pearls, and I have not had any of the coating come off at all. It goes right to the edge of the pearl. Let me see if I can show you that. I wouldn't tell you they were great if they weren't. That's not my style. If you know my channel, you know that I tell it like it is. So you can see the finish goes right to the edges. It's beautiful and smooth. So these are definitely, if you're doing some lovely, pearl work, I would highly recommend these. I'll have to look and see if they have 6 millimeter in this, because these are stunning. So let's put these aside and talk about the bracelet we're going to make today. So this is a collaboration with Beebeecraft. I want to take this opportunity to thank Beebeecraft for giving me this opportunity to do these, because I find it really helps motivate me to find new designs and stuff like that. So it's a lot of fun. If you're interested in doing it and you have the requirements, in the sense that there's a few requirements they have to do these collaborations. I think you have to have 100 subscribers and something like that. There's a few little things you have to have, but it's definitely worth it. They send you about $50 worth of supplies, and you pick what you want, so you can decide what design you're going to make in exchange for a unboxing video and 2 making videos. So it's definitely worth it if you're into that. So let's take a look. This is the one that's completed. So you can see here's the clasp on this end, and it goes all the way to this side, and we just close that, and that's what it looks like. Let me move these over so we can get a better look here. So that is this. It's very nice and slinky, so it moves around. And once we put all these beads on it, it really polishes it up, and the pearls just look so amazing. I would so wear this for a wedding. A special event, and then of course you can wear it like any day of the week, because I'm not adverse to wearing pearls any day of the week. Let's represent the pearls here. So let me just go through some of the other designs that I use, different colors. So here's the back side. That's what it looks like. But we'll hang on to this one so we can double check it when we're making the other, so you have an idea. This is like super simple. Even if you've never done beading before, you'll be able to do this by following this video. So let me show you the silver one. We are going to put a clasp like this. I got this clasp from Beebeecraft, and it's these are those ones that have the bar in the middle, so you can attach it to a pearl. So I just attached it to the final pearl of the design, and both sides open on this. So I'll make sure to put the link for this clasp as well. This clasp I bought with a like a personal order, so I'll make sure to add that into the links. So if you're looking for these pearls or any of the items that are related to Beebeecraft, they will be in the description, along with a coupon code for 10% off your entire order. It's Emma10, and you also get free shipping for $25 or more. So these are lovely. So I wanted to try some summery colors. This turned out nice, but I feel like I find these white super duos look a bit plastic, as well as the beads here, and they're all glass, so they're beautiful, but it didn't quite have the bling factor I was looking for. So then I tried some pink. Of course I had to add pink into here. Here's some pink super duos with some copper beads. And this one turned out really nice. I could imagine I'll be doing a few of these. So here's gray. That's lovely. The blue turned out really nice. I found the really bright super duos gave a huge impact and really showed off the pearls. So there's that one. And then these, I'm trying to think of the name of this color super duo. Let me see. Metallic Ceylon Yellow for those. And you can get super duos at just about any online or, brick and mortar bead stores. So there's that one. And then the last one here, and we'll get started, is a rainbow one with silver super duos. This one turned out really nice. It's lovely. So there you go. So you're going to need, let's just move this over here. So you will need a clasp. Pretty much any clasp I think would work. Let me just say, on this one here, I incorporated this clasp. It's a very particular clasp. I incorporated into the beadwork. It was a lot of work to get it to sit perfectly in there. So that's why I ended up going with this one that just attaches directly to the pearl. So if you have problems, with your beadwork, definitely go the easier route with a clasp like this. But if you're interested in putting this in, I'll just say all I did was I continued the design, and you'll see how that's done, but I added a super duo and then didn't add the rest of the beads. So that way you could sit this in as if it was a pearl. And these clasps have little bars so you can get your thread around them. So enough of that. Let's get moving on the designs. You're going to need some super duos. I'm using matte metallic goldenrod for this one. See if we can get this one going. And of course we need the lovely pearls. And let me show you with the pearls what I mean about the finish right to the edge. So you can see it's all the way around, and they're lovely and rounded. You're going to need a size, I was saying for this part, actually, you know what? I think I need a size 12. I initially grabbed a size 10, but I will say that often with using super duos, because they don't quite sit exactly flush, so one super duo is going to be going one way and one the other way. When you try to get your needle through, when it's beaded together, it often is not, the holes don't match up. So you will need a needle that can bend. So size 10 won't work. So let's grab a size 12. It will make your life so much easier. So here we go, so size 12. You're going to need some beading thread. I'm using dragon thread number 5. Oh, let's get that. Flatten it a bit so you can get it on your needle. And just check to make sure that eye is, I think this, I used this needle before and the eye gets flattened over time. So there, that went through. Pull that through. That aside. So let me show you the dragon thread. So this is the thread I'm using. You can use 1G, NYMO, regular beading thread that you use. Let me show you one of these. I used, I think it was the blue. I used 1G thread. And it worked, but it was a pain in the butt. So you can see, like, it's hard to see actually where the thread is. So it's great if you can use the specific color to hide the thread. But, you know, you're passing through your beads a lot, so your thread gets kind of, I don't know, it shreds a bit. You're going to need an 11-0 seed bead, and I just matched up this one. This one's Toho Gold 11-0, and this is galvanized. Let me put these here. And that should be it. So I would take a wingspan of thread to start. You're going to pick up 6 beads of the 11-0s. Like this. You're going to take that down, leave about 5 or 6 inches at the bottom so that you can weave in or you can add your clasp. Now you're going to come back around and just go through the bottom of the first 3 like that. Pull that through. So you see they sit side by side. We're going to go back through these beads from the top, and that will snug them up next to the other set of beads. Just hang on to them so it doesn't get all flippy floppy. So that's what it'll look like. Pick up 3 more. That. I think I'm going to move some of this stuff up a bit so we can get a clear space on our mat so you can see what's really happening with my hands. Sometimes if there's stuff in front, it's hard to see it. So there we go. There's the 3. So if you look at what we have here, we're coming out of this bead here. We're going to come through the top to attach the other beads. Make sure you go through them all. Pull that through like that. The first 2 sets are hard to hang on to, so it's hard for me to show you, but just bear with me. So now we're going to go up through the ones we just added. And this is going to repeat itself all the way. So this is what you should have. Your first set of 3. You're going to pick up a pearl. Let me hang on to that. So you're coming out of here. You're going to go in through the bottom with your pearl on there. This is one of my favorite designs. It's kind of a take on a tennis bracelet. And instead of putting crystals, I put pearls, and of course I added the super duos. So go back through. So you're going to go back through the pearl a few times. So just pay attention. We'll go through this a few times, and I'll try and make sure that it's very clear for you. But the idea is you want this pearl to be sitting in the middle of these beads. These beads are like a little seat for the pearl. So we need to go back into the pearl because we want to be coming out of the pearl when we move our next spot. So this line is going to go to this one here, and that will curl that pearl over. So go through all 3 beads. If you don't catch it on this one, don't worry. It will make more sense on the next ones because I'll have something to hold on to. So you'll see everything. So pull that snug. Now your thread's coming out of here. You want to go through the pearl so that it attaches the pearl on this end too. Like this. Like that. So this is the first step of this. Like that. And that's what it looks like on the back. So now we're going to go through these 3 11-0s. And you might have to do, so you see how the beads have kind of nestled around the pearl, so it's hard to get your needle through all 3. Not a big deal, just do it in 2 steps. And if this seems like a lot of explaining, I do that on purpose. I have quite a few new subscribers that are new to beading, so I do detailed instructions. If that's not your cup of tea, just go ahead and fast forward. I won't be upset. So pick up your super duo. You're coming out of here. Bring your super duo down. Okay, and let me just grab this like that. Then you're going to put your needle, so your needle's coming out of this hole. You're going to go through the second hole of that super duo like that. And you're going to go through, again, this will be clear when we have more to hang on to. So if you see your threads coming out of this bead, it's going through the super duo, going around the super duo, through the second hole. Now we're going to go through these bottom 11-0s. And again, you might have to do that in 2 steps. Just pull everything tight like that. Let's get through this guy. Through here. And I'm going to move my thread out of the way. That. So there's your first super duo. Pick up another super duo. You're coming through the first hole, and it's coming out of this 11-0. You're going to draw it down like that. You're going to go through the second hole, or the open hole of the super duo, and then go through the seed beads on the other side like that. And when you pull it tight, it will cinch them in like that. Now we need to go through this third 11-0 and just that hole. Now if you want to reinforce this, you can definitely go around a second time, but it looks pretty good to me, so I'm going to leave it. So now we're going to create the next element. So we need to create that little carpet or chair of 3 sets of 3 beads of the 11-0s. So you pick up 3. You're coming out of here. You're going to go into here. Let's see if we can get all 3. There we go. Go through like that. Now you're going to go back through the ones you just added like that. There. Now we're going to add 3 more 11-0s. We're coming out of this bead here. We're going to go into the top bead. Go through all 3 beads and pull them in. There's your second row. We're going to go up through those beads we just added, all 3 of them. And pull tight. Pick up your last 3 of this little chair. So we're coming out of this bead here. We're going to go into this one. Pass through all 3 beads like that. And there we go. Now we're going to pass through those again to kind of snug them up. I usually hang on to the beads. It helps to get them nicely lined up. So now we're going to do the same thing. We're going to add our pearl. So let's pick up a pearl. These, just to let you know, the holes on these pearls are tinier than what I'm used to, but I didn't have any problems getting through them with my size 10 needle. So it's just you get like some of the finish has those little tails of finish from being attached to the other bead. Okay, so let's get through there. Okay, so we came out of this bead, added our pearl. We're going to go to the other side like this. And I try and center it a bit and then tighten my thread. It's not really necessary once you go back through it a couple of times and attach it to here. This evens out. So let's go back through the pearl. You see that straightened it out. Get in here. Okay, so now we're going to go through. So there's 1, 2, 3 is part of the little chair that I said for the pearl. We're going to go through these 3 here. And as we're pulling it, we're going to tuck that in so that the pearl sits on top. It'll want to go to the bottom. There we go. All set. Go through the pearl again. I'm going to hang on to it here. There, get it nice and snug. Then go back through these 3 here at the front. We're going to attach our super duos like that. So there's your first 2. So it looks like on the back. So now let's get our 2 super duos. We're going to pick up a super duo, bring it down, kind of position it like that. Go through the open hole of the super duo and go through that 3rd row and go through all 3 beads. Come out the other side and pull this snug. So there's your second super duo. Pick up your other super duo, draw that down. Go through the second hole, the open hole of the super duo, and through the front of these 3. And you're going to go through the super duo this time on the other side that's already been attached. Pull that down. So that's what you have so far. Your thread is now coming out of this super duo. We're going to cross to the other hole and we're going to go through the 3 beads as well as the super duo like that, and that super duo here, because now we're going to attach the next super duo, which is going to link these 2 pieces together. Essentially, you could do this without putting those super duo or without attaching another super duo, because it looks lovely and it's nice and secure. But you know me, it's like, how many beads can I put on one design? So grab your next super duo, bring it down, set it on top there. So get that out of the way. Go through the second hole. That. Now you're going to go through this hole on this super duo, and you're going to go through. So this is where you're kind of using the size 12 needle because it bends. You want to go through your 3 beads, and if you're not sure, just flip it over and you can see where your needle's going. And then try to get it through the hole on this side. It's not, if it doesn't go, no big, do it in a couple of steps. Let me adjust the lighting. I feel like there's a bit of shadow there. So then pull that tight like that and look at what happens. Isn't that lovely? You know, it's funny. The design I liked the best was the light gold matte and the gray one, but this one is looking so stunning. Okay, so let's grab our next Super Duo. Grab a Super Duo, bring it down. Okay, so we're gonna sit that one right there. So go to the open hole of that Super Duo, and then you're gonna go through this hole here. And we're gonna try and find those 3 beads. Go through. You see it came through. Pull that tight. We're going to do this a few times, so don't worry if you didn't catch it the first time. Just a hint, when you're doing a design that has multiple steps, I find what I like to do is I like to watch it all the way through and then get my beads and use the camera, pause. Okay, I'm at the right step now. Play, and I go to the next step. Pause, and believe it or not, I still do that to do designs. Okay, so our thread is coming out of this Super Duo here. We want to go and come around this one here to reinforce it, but also we want to be coming out of one of these inside holes. So let's get her, and this is another argument for the size 12. But you know what? If you manage, I did the first one with a size 10 needle, so it can be done. It's just frustrating. And then I was like, why am I using a size 10? So go over to the next hole and come out. Try not to hook your thread there. Come out like this from this hole. And pull tight. Okay. Now what we're going to do is, let me show you on the other design. So again, this next step is an optional step. You don't have to do it. But if you want to do it exactly like mine, you see how I put the beads inside? So it kind of circles around the pearls. I think that's lovely. So that's why I did it. So let's pick up 4 11-O's. Like that. We are coming out of this hole. We're going to go into, let me tilt the camera. I feel like you're not getting a good angle here. Let's see if we can get, it's not quite what I wanted, but I may have lost, I did, my needle fell off my desk, so all the beads are gone. 1, 2, 3, 4, like that. Coming out of this hole, we're going to go into this hole. So let's just gotta kind of, again, there's not a lot to hang on to at the beginning. Let's just get it in there. And I'm going to pass it through this hole as well. Okay. So you see what that does. Look at that. Oh. Don't worry if this top bead gets loose. When we come back over, it's going to compress it down again. So let's... Okay, this is our tail here. Okay, so now you're coming out of this hole. We're gonna go in through this hole and through the second Super Duo and bring our needle forward. Because now we're gonna put a bead here and a bead there. So we're gonna take this first bead and we're gonna go through these 2 beads here. Bring that through. like that. We're going to pick up one bead. We're coming out of these two beads here. We're going to go through this super duo hole, and we're going to go past this one, because now we're going to go over to that side to continue the design. Look at that, isn't that amazing? You could make a pair of earrings with these. I would probably put another set of 4 beads here and another set of 4 beads there, and then attach them this way. Or you could make them long and attach. There's all kinds of things you can do with this. Okay, so now we're coming out of this hole of the super duo. We're gonna go through this hole, and we're gonna pick up those 3 beads, because now we're gonna continue our chain of the bracelet like that. And we're gonna start adding our next set. So we're just gonna continue with this just the same way we did this. So it does get easier as you go along, because you've got something to hang on to. So let's see what we can do here. So 1, 2, 3. You're coming out of here. Let me see if I can grab that. You're going to go through the top of those 3 like that. Pull that down. Go up through those. So this is your first set. So here's an area where you might get mixed up. You have to have 3 sets, 3 rows for each pearl. And sometimes you look and you can see that row there and you're thinking it's part of it. So just remember, if you're not sure, just flip it over and count them. You know, sometimes you put your work down and you're like, oh, was that 2 or 3? Or so now you pick up 3. You're coming out of here. You're going to go through the bottom and through those 3 like that. And then go through them again. Pull tight. One more time. 1, 2, 3. Coming out of the bottom here, we're going to go through the top, attaching the 3 we just added on our thread. Just going to pull this tight, make sure it's snug. Pull that down, and there's my 3. We're going to go through that one again. Like that. Now we're going to add our pearl. Coming out of this side, we're going to go on this side with our pearl on there. And push it in the middle. Go through the pearl again. Like that. Your thread's coming out of the pearl. We're going to go down to the first set of 3. I'm going to use our nail to kind of nudge it in there, yeah. Then go through the pearl. Pull that through like that. And there's your pearl ready to go. So we're going to, this thread's coming out of the pearl. We're going to go up through the top, or the last 3 that we added. And then we're going to add our super duos. So pick up a super duo, bring it down, skip over to the second hole, like that. Go through the first 3, your first row for that set, pull that down, grab another super duo, bring it down, go through the open hole, so the second hole, like that, sorry. Then go back up through those last 3 beads and go through the super duo hole. Let's pull that up, and there we go. There's second set. We're going to cross over to the next hole. We're going to go through everything again, including your super duo at the bottom, like that. And just pull that tight. Pick up another super duo, bring it down, like that. Go through the open hole, then go through the hole next to this, like right here on this super duo, go through that hole, go through the 3 beads underneath, and go through the super duo hole on the other side. Like that. Just stacking the super duos, basically all you're doing. Kind of like a peyote style. Pick up another super duo, bring it down, go through the open hole on this one, let's grab that. We're going to go through the hole of the super duo just beneath that one, go through the 3 11-0s, go through the 2 super duos on the other side, and tighten it so they're nice and snug. Now we're going to go from the one hole to the second hole of that super duo on the outside. Go through both super duos, bring your needle out of your work like that. Now we're going to add this embellishment. So you see this was a lot faster to show you than the first couple. So it definitely makes a difference. You have something to hang on to, and you have the base to start with, right? So pick up 4 11-0s. Your thread is coming out of this super duo here and this hole. So we're going to go through the super duo directly on the other side and through that hole. And you can do it in 2 steps, or you can kind of nudge your super duo over so the holes match up. And there you go. Now we're going to go around to the second hole, down through both super duos. Again, bring your needle out of your work. You can every step of the way you can pull it a little tighter so that they sit nicely. So now you're going to add 1 11-0, but you're going to go through these 2 11-0s in the middle. So the idea is that those 2 middle ones become common to each. If we had more space there, we'd add 2 rows on each side, not a big deal. So just bring that through to set that little, and it also brings everything closer together so that it's nice and tight. So go through that hole. We've added an 11-0 on this side. We're just going to go through the hole. See how I skipped going through this one? Like that. I'm going to tighten it a bit. I like mine tight. So now I'm coming out of this hole. I'm going to go through this hole and through those 3 beads at the end. And we're going to start all over. So I'll do this one more time, and then we'll take a look at the clasp. We'll put a clasp on the gray one. So pick up 3 11-0s. So I did do these with 11-0 Tohos, which are slightly larger than the, say, check beads, but I did do them with the check bead, and it works great with both. So if you're wondering how that's going to work, you can definitely do both of them. It matched up perfectly with the super duos. Now I would say it probably won't work with twin beads. You can try it. I was going to try it, but I have enough super duos I didn't bother. I really wanted to have this angular nestling effect, and I find that there's so much variation in the twin beads that they don't sit properly the way I like them, but that's just me. I've seen some design videos where people are using twin beads. I'm like, oh, what's those beautiful beads? I'm like, oh, they're twin beads. So, it just depends. I've got 3 11-O's. I'm going to start my first little row for the next pearl. I'm going to take and go through this again on the other side, like that. Pick up 3 more, like that. Coming out of the bottom, go through the top. There. And if this happens, see how there's a wide space there? Don't worry, just take your thread and pull it towards your work, and that will shorten that space there. Just like that. So now we're going to go back up the row we just added. Like that. Pick up 3 more. So this is where I was saying sometimes when you're doing this, it looks like you have 3 rows. 1, 2, 3, but that row belongs to this pearl. So I'm just trying to show you the different places where you could make a mistake, because I did them when I was doing these. So there's our last one. I'm going to go through it again. That will reinforce it and put me in the right position to add the pearl. So pick up a pearl. Coming out of this hole, we're going to go into the other side. There we go. Nudge that to the middle. There. Go through the pearl again. These are some of the finish is stuck on the edge, so it makes it harder to get through. Okay. What did I do here? Oh, you know what? I pulled it too tight. Look. So let's just get our needle in there and snag that back. There. Put your needle in. And there. That straightened it out. So now go through the first row and all 3 beads. Like that. And you can see this is going to, well, it's going to make a liar out of me. Usually it wants to go to the bottom. Okay, go through your pearl again. And hang on to it in that position. Pull your thread. Go through these 3 again. Like that. Now add your super duos. Go through the open hole and the first row of the 3 beads you put on there. Pull that in. Get your next super duo. Pull it down. Go through your open hole and your 3 beads and the super duo on the other side, like that. I just hang on to my pearl and snug that in. They will kind of stick out like this, but once we pull through again, so we're going to go over to this hole, go through here and through this hole here, and you see how it snugged it in on both sides. So now we're going to add that top super duo here. So bring that down. go through the open hole of the super duo, go through the super duo below, through the 3 holes, and if you can manage through the hole of the super duo on the other side, doesn't want to go for me, so that's fine. I'll just do it in 2 steps. Pull this one in snug, come through from the inside, out, and watch this happens. It gets hooked around your work. There we go. And your last super duo. I mean, it's not going to be your last if you're doing a whole bracelet. The number of elements that you put on is going to depend on how big the wrist is that you're making it for. So let's go through the open hole here. This super duo's not behaving. Then go through the next super duo hole, through all 3, and just through that one there. You're going to pull this tight, and that's going to tighten both top and bottom here. Oh, we're going to go through actually and come back, because I forgot we had the embellishment to do. So let's go back up, then down, but just through the super duo, coming out like that. Pick up 4 11-0s, that's 5. And then go, so you're coming out of here, you're going to go through here. And if you can get both beads, I kind of move them so the holes line up. There's one set. Go through these 2 holes of the super duos coming out of your work, because we're going to add an 11-0, and then we're going to go through the middle 2 11-0s that we just added. Then add 1 more 11-0, and you're going to go through just the 1 hole of that first super duo. So it's kind of go on an angle, and then tighten this, and there is your work. So you're going to continue this over and over and over till you have a lovely bracelet. So let's take a look at how to attach a clasp. This looks tangled here. Let me fix this. So that is lovely. Yeah, I think that's my favorite now. So let's take a look at the silver. So I do have some thread on the other side. Let's get that in the needle. Yeah, I might have to cut this. It's not behaving. It's my needle is so tiny. Look at that. You know what's funny is practicing threading has gotten so much better because I do so many bracelets now. So this one here, yeah, so I left it open on the end. So I would complete an element, so the pearl with the 2 super duos and these 2 accent super duos, put the beads in and leave this side just like that. And now we're going to attach the pearl, and we're going to attach it through the pearl. So I want to take my strand, which is coming out of this bead, these beads here. I'm going to go into my pearl and just through the pearl like that. Now so these each come off, so I'm going to take it off so you can see what I'm doing. And you can see there's a little bar there. There is a hole. Let me see if I could show that to you. So you can see the hole. You are going to need that hole because your needle's so long. Now, somebody mentioned to me the other day, and I thank them for their hint, is use smaller needles for your finishing the ends of your bracelet and putting clasps on. I never even thought of that. So always remember, you probably have a front and a back to your clasp, so you don't want it sitting that way. Now you could essentially put it this way, but then you're not going to see this bar here, this beautiful crystal bar. So we kind of want it this way to accent it. So let's just take a look. You know what? It is going to twist it. Because of course the bar is going this way. The bar should be going this way if I'm using the pearl. So let me think about that. I think there was a reason why the thread was coming out here for that reason. Because all this will do is it will turn it sideways. You could use a wire guard here and then no, that's not going to work. Let's just do it this way and we'll straighten it out as we go. So take your needle, go through the one side of the bar. That. We're going to come back through that hole. Let me open this. Through that hole. And we're going to take a look at where our needle's coming through. Because you don't want to come through the same side that you want it to attach, right? We're going to do this a couple of times. You might even want to do a new piece of thread. I find this white crystal thread from Dragon Thread and Potomac Beads, I find it shreds a lot. So it doesn't feel as strong as it should be. So now we're coming out of the clasp. We're going to go through the pearl. But I'm going to reinforce this multiple times. So you see, if I pull it tight, it wants to sit sideways. So let's see how we can adjust this. I think, you know what I think? I think it's not going to matter. Once we attach it to the clasp, it will sit in the right orientation. Because I don't think there's any other way around this. So let's go back through the hole. And I'm purposely going through the opposite hole that I started with so that I can maybe twist it a little. Then go through here. So you're just looking inside to see where your threads are coming through to make sure you're actually hooking the bar. And I'm going to pull it tight. So it's actually not too bad. I'm going to go through one more time. And your size 12 needle is super small, so it seems like it's doing the trick. Now I'm just going to make sure I angle this down to get to the other side of the bar, like that. I think that came out, so let me do another pass, and then we're done. So let's go through here. That. Get this out of the way. There. I'm going to go up and down. Now I'm going to go through the pearl, then I'm going to go through the 11 beads. So you might want to do 2 on one and then the last one here. They get a little finicky because we've pulled it tight, so it's hard to get in. I don't want to poke that thread. There we go. Like that. There. Now I'm going to go to the middle row here of that last unit. I'm just going to go pass through one bead, and I'm going to create a thread bridge. Or I'm not going to create a thread bridge, I'm going to put my needle through the thread bridge because I'm going to put a knot in here. You don't have to do a knot, you can weave back and forth through these and come back and it'll have the same effect. But I like to put knots, but I like to make sure they're not seen. So now I'm going to pass through the two beads. That will pop that knot inside the bead, and you can go through another row if your needle will let you. Let's go through here. Let me poke my needle to the front. There we go. And through. And cut that off. So let's take a look at the finished silver one. So you see the silver does move around, or the clasp on this side moves from side to front. I kind of left it a bit loose for that reason, but here you go, put that through like that. That's what I mean, once you get it on that bar, it's going to sit in the right orientation anyway. So this is lovely. This turned out so nice. So there's the silver. And let's take a look at the lovely gold one that I finished. There's that one there. This is just lovely. So we have these two. Let's bring the glass forward so you can see. And then the gold that we finished. Let me enlarge this a bit for you. So don't forget, the links are in the description for the pearls, and I'll put the link for this one. There'll be the other links for the other items I got with this collaboration, and these are available on Beebeecraft. You get 10% off with the coupon code EMMA10, and it's free shipping for $25 or more on your orders. So there you go. Thank you for joining me. Hope you enjoyed that, and we'll see you in the next video. Bye.